cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. It's black and white. Black and white. Oh, 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 oh. It's black and white. Just let me go, it's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. Just let me go, it's only right. For all I know, it's only matter. It's calico, it's black and white. White, white, white. Black and white. It's black and white. It's black and white.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Simracersworld TV, and welcome to another trio of rounds in the Simracersworld TCR Series. We're here at the legendary, I think to be fair, that's a bit of an understatement to be fair, Long Beach. What a place to be in California. Chaz Draycott here with Peter MacKay alongside me again for another wonderful Tuesday night of action. Peter, I'm sure you've got many a story lined up about this circuit, but it's a hell of a place to be no matter what you're racing around here, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. It's an absolute pleasure to be here for the penultimate round of the Simracersworld TCR Series, and what a place to come. Of course, Long Beach recently added to the iRacing service after such a long wait, so much anticipation for this circuit, and I think that tells you all you need to know about what people think about it. It's an amazing circuit to drive around. However, it's a street circuit, and here in the sim racing world, toning back the aggression can be hard at times. And if you're going to go anywhere, if you're going to go to a street circuit, might as well go in a sturdy touring car, because I think we'll see a little bit of crash bang wallop tonight.
Yes, we definitely will. There's going to be plenty of action all the way up and down the order, plenty of contact, and well, it's not going to be the easiest of nights for everybody involved, but we'll have to see. As mentioned in the chat, everybody, we will apologise in advance for any sort of frame stutters or anything that we get this evening, because I noticed it on a stream the other night. There has been a bit of an issue, unfortunately, with SDK, it seems, when we have it open and have the event viewer available to us, which tells us what's going on, who's had an incident, who's made an overtake, etc. It seems to just cause some form of issue, and we don't know what issue that is, unfortunately. But as you can see, right now we're looking at Damien Harris. I've got the program closed. Runs nice and smoothly here. And then as soon as I open it, ready? There it is. That's the difference it makes, and we're not sure why, I'm afraid. I have asked them, just in case. They are very, very good at getting these things fixed and getting replies to us, so hopefully over the course of the evening we can sort something out, but unfortunately for now, deal with it. Bram Class, though, he's dealing with it in one of the best ways. This must be such a difficult place to get right round here, especially Indy left there into the final corner, Peter. That's not an easy corner at the best of times, is it?
No, it really isn't. And of course, the very final hairpin is just horrible how tight it is. It is the tightest corner of any circuit on the iRacing.com simulator. And I remember, I almost stopped myself there, but you know what? I'm in too deep now, Chaz. I'm going to give a name drop here. I was chatting to Alan McNish the other day.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, just pick that one up off the floor. And he said that when they used to, I mean, can you imagine driving an Audi R10 LMP1 turbo diesel around here? It'd be like flying a space shuttle down an alleyway. And, well, that was a bit what it was like. And the car did win back in 2008 with Dirk Werner and Lucas Luhr. But Alan McNish actually said, he says it was so tight going around the final hairpin. Bear in mind, that's a car designed to be firing down the Mulsanne Straight, and he says you actually almost had to bounce off the wall to get the car round the final hairpin.
I'm not surprised. I remember having a lot of experience on Forza Motorsport, particularly Forza Motorsport 3 and 4. And, you know, the Audi R10 back then, it was such a... that was a little bit clumsy from Bram Class to come back across like that. You know, he's trying to get the run, but poor Michael Blake ends up losing out because of that there. And around he goes in very non-dramatic fashion. He won't be too pleased with that. Bit annoying, but, you know, having the old battle between Audi and Peugeot was just so much fun to have just available to you, know, and those cars were not thin. They were very, very wide cars, and I mean, it doesn't take me to tell everybody that they were, but, you know, you look at them and you go, yeah, you know, LMP style car. It's just prototype car, that's what it is. But they were so much wider, I think, than they are now. You know, they really were chunky. And, you know, the Audi R10, what a dominant car it was. It's just another step on Audi's ultimate ladder of performance race cars, isn't it? It was a legendary machine. Peugeot 908 was just awesome as well. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed watching those cars, and it's a shame we don't really get that rivalry these days, I'm afraid, isn't it?
It is a great pity that we haven't had it up to now, but you know, sports car fans around the world wait with real anticipation for a whole raft of new programs, both in the LMDH category and the Le Mans hypercar category. Certain manufacturers choosing to go along two different routes. They do a similar thing, but the idea is that they will race against one another in the World Championship and at Le Mans as well. But the difference being that the Le Mans Daytona Hybrid, the LMDH, will race in IMSA exclusively. And interestingly, Audi and Porsche have gone for that route, whereas we're going to have Peugeot back. And the thing about Peugeot is when they don't go racing that often, but when they do, my word, do they do it properly. It's funny, isn't it? You think about their rallying, the 205 T16 in Group B, dominant car. Their World Sports Car stuff in the early 90s, dominant again. And then, of course, they beating Audi in their pomp at Le Mans in the late 2000s with, like you said, that 908 HDI. My goodness me. And have you seen the pictures of the car, of their new hypercar? It looks like it's come out of a Terminator movie.
That's the thing with a lot of these newer cars that are coming out. They really do look unbelievably pretty. You know, they have obviously opened up the rules a little bit, you could say. But there are still some very, very strong and, you know, very competent regulations in place. I mean, you and I have seen multiple series just in sim racing alone, and obviously the real motorsport world as well, and delved into the regulations and what it takes to keep teams and drivers and everybody under control. But, I mean, what we have is just nothing short of amazing in terms of some of the packages that we get to watch racing. You know, the rule books are just stunning bits of kit in themselves. You know, we've seen so many cool regulations and different formats of series that have come out of it, and we should be forever grateful for them. But the new sort of hypercar rules as well that are in place, they look more and more exciting every time I look at them. It's brilliant.
I'm not sure the car manufacturer's finance department think they're very good. I mean,
that's true.
But I mean, one of the biggest seismic shifts in momentum of that category is, of course, the announcement that Ferrari are going to be entering with a full factory effort, and that hasn't been seen for nearly 50 years. In fact, when that Ferrari hypercar debuts, it will be not only in Le Mans centenary, but on the 50th anniversary of their last full factory fight. So, Le Mans 2023, I tell you what, my tickets are already booked in my mind to go and see all those new cars. But back to the TCR, Chaz, it's another one where it's a rule set that has been so popular all over the world. And of course, this is a car that, you know, it's been used in sprint format like we would see in the British Championship, although they don't use the TCR rules. But it also can be used for even up to 24-hour races as well. So it's a pretty versatile car for, in the context of race cars, a very low price point.
Yeah, definitely. It really is. So, you know, bang for your buck is a phrase that people often throw around in motorsport, and they often have very different ideas of what that means. But, yeah, in fairness, this is one of the highlights of it. So we've got Damien Harris fastest at the moment. Fraser Smith second, very close to the wall there before he goes to the fountain. And then we've got Corentin Guinez, Roman Bokler, Norbert Leitner just coming out. Now, this pit exit, Peter, is one of the most interesting points on the circuit. We're not going to see it used too much tonight, but when it does get some use, it's a scary old deal.
Yeah, you've just got to hope that the driver coming out of pit lane is looking in their mirror, which you would think it should be a given, but it's not. Yes, you pretty much have to come to almost, if it's clear, then you're okay. You just have to go right out and almost take a 90-degree left, otherwise you'll be given an unsafe pit exit penalty or drive-through, effectively being asked to do it again. And the thing is that when you're when you can see in your mirror if there's cars approaching the braking zone, you have to actually come to a complete stop, or you should come to a complete stop and let them go by. So yes, it requires a little bit of trust in your fellow drivers.
Yeah, that's it. You do need to just, well, avoid miscommunication, but let's face it, that's easier said than done. In the consistency class at the moment, don't forget we have the three classes available. Bram class is fastest at the moment. So many puns have been thrown about that already. Michael Blake second, Jessica Myers third. In the academy class, it's Jürgen Knockaert top of the pile at the moment. He's got a good few positions over Niles de Kuiper and Danny Fenning as well. Now, an interestingly smaller grid tonight, actually, Peter. We usually have about 24 to 30 cars. We've got 21 this evening. I think that's potentially down to, I know a number of drivers in the sim and in the community, they do not want to buy this circuit. You know, some of them aren't a fan of street circuits. And I was kind of reluctant to get this circuit myself. I did give it a go, and it is a lot of fun, in fairness. You know, I had my eyes open to it. But I know a lot of drivers just, they refuse to get it, and I can see why on one way of looking at it, but when you think there's a championship at stake, you really do need to be careful about that sort of thing, don't you?
Well, I think it might be that those who aren't here, it looks like we've got the main championship protagonists. We've got Damien Harris, Fraser Smith, Corentin Guinez, Roman Botler, Norbert Leitner, Miguel Freitas, you know, and we've got the kind of main protagonists in each class, which is good to see. And I think maybe those drivers who may be they've not got the championship to fight for, and of course we must make our viewers aware that you're maybe not familiar with iRacing, is that apart from a few circuits that are included with your subscription, most circuits you actually have to pay an extra fee to get the use of the circuit, which is about $12, something like that, about £10. And it's very good value if you use it, but of course if you don't, it's not. I have to say, I think I must have been one of the first customers for Long Beach. I was standing there pressing refresh, waiting for it to come on sale. I was so excited.
Not surprised.
I actually, it is just so exciting to drive around. Racing is difficult, and the one thing that actually normally we would be a little bit sad by having a smaller grid number, but tonight, in the context of Long Beach, I think both us as broadcasters but also the drivers, I think they'll be quite glad to see a small turnout actually.
Yeah, less candidates for the chaos really. Now this is the corner that really interests me. Indy left all the way round to the final corner. Must be so difficult to get right, because when you're on the brakes in these cars, we've seen it a million times, haven't we, where the rear end just wants to gradually slide around. It's such a painful slide, and when you've then got to go to a very sharp right, let's face it, one of the sharpest rights in the world, it's not really the place to have the car trying to pendulum away from you. It's just, well, it's nightmare fuel if anything. But we're going to see a few moves down the inside there tonight, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've done only one broadcast here before, and it was a GT series, and there were plenty of sends into there. So I'm expecting these lot to definitely not let us down.
Oh yeah, you can be sure of that. It is a little bit of shall we say, it's a little bit of a nuclear button, because if you do go for it, the chance is a 50-50, and it's also, if you do pull it off, it incredibly compromises your lap time. So I think we might only really see it for drivers who really need to get by quickly early on in the race, or if it's drivers further to the front, it might hold it till later on. Let's hope so, but it's easy to be logical sitting here in our commentary booth, Chaz, isn't it? But unless you know what it's like when you're behind the wheel, it's logic. You can just say, "I'll just leave that in the bin in the garage. Let's just go for it."
Yeah, definitely. You know, you can't just chuck it about and you push for it. We often sit in the commentary boxes and always say, "Oh, you know, if that was me, I would have backed out of that," or you know, you need to just hold back and be patient. These are racing drivers; they're not going to do that. We've got absolutely bob out, to be fair. We've got 2.5 minutes left of this qualifying session. I'm just keeping an eye on Anton Dupin because he's out of touch from the rest of the precision class drivers. Get it right, Chaz. At the moment, you can hear the wheel spin as well coming from that car as he exits the fountain. Maybe not really getting on with the car around here. It's not a place where I'd expect a front-wheel drive car to feel amazing, let's face it, especially when you're trying to stay away from the walls as well. Again, apologies for the stutters, everybody. I know it isn't the best, especially around here as well. This corner seems to be the worst for it, but I have asked the question. There's not really much I can do. I've tried playing with every single setting so far. You may have noticed that in the way that a lot of the stutters were happening and getting worse, but I'm afraid we are stuck with it for now, so fingers crossed it does get better in time. But we do appreciate you still sticking around. Make sure you do like and of course subscribe to Simracersworld TV. We hit 1,500 subscribers the other day, so thank you to each and every one of you. We are very grateful for all of the views we get on our channel and the fantastic support we get. Now this is interesting, isn't it, Peter? Anton making sure he maximises the run out the final corner. Could have done that a little bit better in fairness, but this is what these drivers need to do now. We've got Fraser in the chat saying the track has got really slow, so no one is improving on their times. It's a little bit stagnant here.
Yes, it seems so. The track is really heated up. When the track temperature gets very high, that can be really, really greasy, and see quite a lot of the drivers really appearing to struggle to hit the apexes. And actually, I don't think Anton Dupin is going to get, certainly judging by the time he crossed the line, he's not going to get through. And I think, yep, there you go. He parks it up beside the cameraman, who gets a very close look at Anton's machine. Here's Miguel Freitas. So pretty much everyone, unless this is a hot lap, this will be Miguel's position. So the moment sitting 7th on the grid, it doesn't appear like there's going to be much of a change to that. So a few of the drivers who are just out on circuit right now, just as I say that, he says his personal best. Thanks, Miguel, for making me look an idiot there. Thank you. But I'm glad to be. Well done. Good lap.
The happy idiot.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So there might be a few of the drivers out on track right now might be doing a practice start as well. Of course, we we love the anticlimactic starts that these Audis have, where they have much lower revs and they sit there going, and then off they go.
Yes, indeed, it does certainly make for interesting viewing, that's for sure. But something that's interesting viewing for Fiercely Forward is Damien Harris on the front row and his good old sparring partner, Fraser Smith. Corentin Guinez and Roman Bocler will be getting the popcorn out, with Norbert Leitner in 5th place as well. A trio of HM engineering cars ready to pounce. Miguel Freitas is 6th, ahead of Mats Borg Anderson and Matthew Crisp, with Bram Klaas and Jessica Myers rounding out your top 10, the highest 2 in the consistency class. It is then Michael Blake and Anton Dupin, as Chaz clicks the wrong button. Brilliant. With an Avanders Lillejorde, Jürgen Knockhart leads the Academy class ahead of Scott Malcolm, Ben Hicks, Niles de Kuiper, Louis Correa, Danny Fenning, Craig Schill, and Paul Godden for Sim Stickers rounds out the back of the grid. But there is the beautiful, beautiful Long Beach. I did notice the water was doing some mad stuff earlier. Just keep your eye on it. Very strange. But we do have a very pretty grid, and like you say, Peter, probably a little bit better that it's not the biggest grid we've had this season around here. But have you got your eye on anybody here? Because it could be a complete procession, or it could be a bit of mayhem and loads of overtaking. What do you reckon?
Let's go with mayhem.
I like that. I love that from you.
I think it's going to be mayhem. In terms of drivers, well, could be any of those top 4. I think it's going to be difficult for anyone out whether those 2 front rows.
Well, let's see how they get on with it then. Round 24 of the Simracersworld TCR Series from Long Beach is anticlimactically underway. Corentin Guinez moves over to defend from both of his teammates. Norbert Leitner around the outside has got a demon getaway. He might even have Corentin down to turn 1. We've still got Damien Harris leading the way. Fraser Smith goes to his right-hand side. Damien covers the inside. Here comes Corentin Guinez. Thank you very much, Fraser. I'll take that. Anybody hitting the wall? Everyone behaving themselves? Yes, it seems so. Through the fountain. You don't want to get wet. 2x2 through that very narrow exit at the corner. Oh, we've got cars around in the background. Niles de Kuiper, Scott Malcolm, Louis Correa involved. Niles de Kuiper waits for everybody to go through. We've got Norbert Leitner dropping down as well, Peter. He's gone straight on. Real nightmare for him. Well, Damien Harris will be happy to see all that going on behind him, because he needs to bolt away now. He's got Corentin Guinez, out of all people, right behind him.
Yeah, it's interesting. Guinez just managed to squeeze by at turn 1 and seal the move up at the fountain, just going past Fraser Smith there. But Damien Harris, we've seen this before. If Damien gets out front, we know that he's really comfortable leading at the front. Let's see what happened here. Oh my word, big lunge there. De Kuiper has a big look and kind of gets tangled up a bit with Scott Malcolm, it appears. And Scott Malcolm very much the Lauren sausage in the sandwich there.
Yeah, it seemed to me Niles de Kuiper went down the inside. Oh, that was Fraser running wide into Norbert, and it's broken the front right. It has broken it. We saw the suspension get very sensitive last time out at Zolder. It seems like that is still the case here again, but I'm afraid that, to be fair, Niles sort of made his own bed there. He dived down the inside, but then just didn't leave room for Scott at the fountain and then caused the traffic jam. So, a real shame. Kimber Haight in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. We've got a couple of movers so far. Ben Hicks has gained 3 places. Paul Godden's gained 5 from the back of the grid. Bit of damage on the car, but he won't care. He'll crack on. But I'm just coming back to the whole suspension situation, Peter. I mean, Zolder last week was a big test for the suspension on these cars. And again, unfortunately, it's meant an early exit for somebody, and that's Norbert Leitner, and he's going to have to put in a lot of effort now to come back through the pack in these latter 2 races.
Yes, he will, and of course it's there's no more difficult a circuit than a street circuit like Long Beach to make the way forward and to make moves. But if there's anyone that can do it, Norbert Leitner will certainly have a good go at it. Now, I wonder, we'll need to keep a close eye on Fraser Smith's lap times, because it was a bit of a kind of pancake impact there, where kind of Leitner got squashed into the wall. Now, I'd be surprised if Fraser Smith got away completely scot-free in terms of damage, or was Norbert Leitner just the most unlucky man in Long Beach today?
Yeah, like you say, side-on impacts like that, we've both seen plenty of them in the British Touring Car Championship, and you know, it can just break a toe link on a car, and that can be race over. I mean, you go back to the 2017 BTCC finale, you know, all it took was, I think it was Tom Chilton coming back on to just tap the back of Turkington's car, and his entire championship charge was over. You know, one little tap on one wheel to another, and that is it. And it seems like these cars, you know, people have complained a lot about it because they're going in that direction, but it's realistic in my eyes, and I think it deters drivers from racing closely, which, you know, I'd see that as a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. You know, we've had a lot of close racing in this championship. It's definitely stirred up some tempers behind the scenes, but at the same time, you want to still have the ability to do that, don't you? It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's a very, very difficult balance to strike, because the thing is that the software producers they're kind of balancing so many variables. I mean, unlimited variables really, because for example, the very jazzy computer you've got in your office, Chaz, is certainly of a more advanced spec than my laptop. But they both run iRacing, so you know, that's iRacing are having to kind of play a little bit of a kind of middle ground, I suppose, and trying to get, you know, even today we've got, you know, 21 cars from all over the world racing in real time and over the internet. I mean, it's just bonkers, really. This seems to be a car that's maybe been more of a challenge. If you look at, for example, the Mazda MX-5 would be a great example. They seem to be built out of wrought iron. You can bounce into each other and it's okay. And actually, that's what makes them such a hoot to race. Oh, definitely. When I was practicing for the race that I did at Silverstone recently, me and my good friend Dan McCauley both jumped in one of the MX-5s each at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, the older layout, the good old legacy layout with bridge corner and the Abbey chicane it was at the time. It was just amazing, and you know, you can literally just rub them door to door, have a load of fun, have a bit of contact here and there, and you can get away with it. In these cars, you've had that for a while, but it seems like less and less now you can get away with it, and two people that need to consider that are Corentin Guinez and Damien Harris. Now, Corentin, he's on the brink-ish of winning the championship. I believe he could win it tonight, but he needs a pretty picture-perfect performance. And it's not easy to get that in this championship with the quality of drivers that you're going up against, and obviously going up against someone like Damien Owen Harris. I mean, Damien's been amazing. As Bram Class still not got him. Oh, Bram. Needs to be... Oh, nice, though, on the Hanny.
Style.
Love that. Love that. That was proper, like, McRae going round hairpins in Monte Carlo sort of spin, that. Not quite a Subaru in the wet on, you know, tarmac spec, but still. This is how it happened. I think he's done it on his own, has he? Indy left. Oh, he gets a bit of help from Jessica Myers, who doesn't want to touch the brakes by the look of it. But
I don't know if it would have made a great deal of difference. It seemed like Bram was beginning to slide, and then there was such a close following distance that, kind of a little bit of a 50-50 there, I think. But maybe less. No, or not. No.
No, this
just see it at a different angle. You're like, oh, no.
Yeah, you tried.
I'm trying to be diplomatic. I'm trying to be good cop to your bad cop.
Yeah. I'm staying out of any Discord discussions from going for. Oh, there's not really any flipping heck. If you want a Honda that badly, Danny, you don't have to do that. Wow, that just looked like a straight up lock up into the wall. That was a big headbutt. That one, a real headbutt. Now we've got a couple of battles going on at the front. Corentin Guinez, I feel, is going to push hard to get past Damien as soon as possible. I don't think that wait until the last lap here to try and get like a slipstream pass going on to the last lap. I don't think that's the better strategy here because of how important track position is. It's very unlikely that you'll ever get past around here. All it takes is someone that's good at defending and you will get stuck behind them. So I think Corentin just has to go from it from the very get-go now. Once he's caught up to the back of him, he needs to push hard. You can just hear the scrapes and the bounces and the squeaks of these cars just hitting curbs and scraping along walls. It's a pretty horrendous noise, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah, you can just see the invoices from your local Audi centre just piling up.
All the zeros.
Oh, my. Yeah, absolutely. And all the while it's going on, you've got to sit there and drink a coffee that you can see right to the bottom of. I mean,
you and coffee.
It's important. It is important.
It is.
If you buy a car with fine engineering, you should get fine coffee.
Which you can get from Sacred Coffee, of course.
Oh, very good. Yes, you can.
Although this isn't a series for that.
And it doesn't matter. With biodegradable and compostable pods. So you know how, of course, how many Nespresso pods a day get put into landfill. It's an absolute travesty. Not with Sacred Coffee. Your Nespresso compatible pods are compostable. Just chuck them in the bin and they decompose.
That's really cool. I like that. Well,
Sacred Coffee for what you drink.
Well, Romain Beauclerc, this Frenchman, clearly pushing hard at the moment. He's lost his right wing mirror, so he's clearly had a bit of a moment with the wall somewhere. And again, you can just hear them getting so close, pushing so hard, really on tiny margins as ever. Mats Borg Anderson getting close to the wall there as well. Over the curbs. I know these stutters are really bad, everybody. I am sorry. Honestly, there is nothing I can do. I can sit with just Discord open and we can do this. And suddenly, life is a bit smoother. But unfortunately, I need my cameras and I need my timing. So you're going to have to deal with it, I'm afraid. There is a Windows update that's been going on for the last few days, so maybe if we give that a go, it'll work, but we can't do that midstream. Now, this at the front is getting closer and closer now. Guinez attacking Damien Harris. That reminded me of the old, was it John Watson and Keke Rosberg? When John Watson went past, I think it was in Detroit, though, wasn't it? That amazing drive through from John Watson from 23rd on the grid or something to win in a McLaren. And it looked like that. The two cars bobbling around on the brakes and just wiggling around a bit, trying to get the car straight. It was just this amazing slow-mo footage from way back when it happened, and that was just a spitting image of it. That really did get me in the nostalgia, that. But Damien Harris, he's doing everything right at the moment, isn't he, in holding this position?
He is, yeah, defended very well. Corentin Guinez was millimetres from just letting off the brake and going for it, but Damien just had him covered in time. Very, very good for Damien Harris in the 503 Fiercely Forward machine. That was John Watson that was here, the last ever Formula One winner at Long Beach, no less, Chaz. John Watson in a McLaren back in 1983. And of course, John, isn't it great? We've still got his dulcet tones on GT World broadcast. And Beauclerc's in the fence. Oh dear.
Yep, I saw it come up that he'd gone through, and that is exactly how he did it. Miguel Freitas, nice stuff. Taking advantage. Beauclerc may feel some ill effects from that. The car may not handle how he wants. But I want to point out as well, I mean, yeah, John Watson, absolute legend in his own right. Fantastic commentator. Says it how it is. I've been told before by Mr. Addison, who I actually saw today as well, another name drop there, that, John always says about all these positions that get points down to like 32nd, and he gets very irate about it, because back in my day you only got points for 1st to 6th in a 28 car field. There was no mercy. But bless him, he's an absolute star and a legend. And how pretty was that 1983 McLaren? Oh, good lord, what a car. Anyway, Corentin Guinez, he doesn't care how pretty Damien Harris's car at the moment is. All he knows is he wants to get past it so he can see it in his mirrors rather than in his windscreen. But going towards the fountain, very close to the wall once again. It's just tenacious chasing, but nothing doing at the moment though, Peter. You've got to think he just needs a good run out that final corner to get the slipstream for the easiest potential move around here.
Well, I think now he's starting to really put Damien Harris under the cosh, but interestingly, they're battling, or they're sort of sizing each other up. It's not quite allowed Fraser Smith or Miguel Freitas to catch up. It seems like Damien Harris and Corentin Guinness have a pace advantage even when they are slipping and sliding. Now we've got a bogey up ahead. Roman Bokler. Now, not often you call Roman Bokler a bogey, but he is in this instance because he's basically nursing a lot of damage. And I tell you what, Damien Harris going very, very defensive there. But I tell you what, Roman Bokler might get it around the outside in the left. He does not. Goodness me, it's almost like they're standing still there. But actually, that just shows you, Chaz, doesn't it, that if you get your car just parked in the right place, you can hold position. I tell a lie, the bogey is actually Norbert Leitner,
I was
not
going to
Roman
say,
Bokler.
I got confused then, yeah. I was going to say, I thought,
me.
I was thinking, has he actually fallen down that far from the damage? But, yeah, to be fair, mate, I mean, we've had them all in so many different positions over the course of the season, each one of them winning races, of course. HM Engineering have really taken this championship by storm. How close did Damien get to that there? That was unbelievable. Still very close to all the walls. Tiny margins again. Consistent stuff once again, though, from Damien Harris. Really, really exciting to watch. It'll be good for him to get another win because I think he needs the morale boost a little bit. He had a very tough week last time round. We've not actually lost anybody other than Bram Class from this race so far. So, not a bad attrition rate, really. We've got still 20 cars running. Danny Fenning and Jürgen Knockaert are 1 lap down, but like you say, Norbert Leitner just up ahead there. Could be the spoiler in the pack. Miguel Freitas and the guys behind have been a bit stationary. Michael Blake is ahead of Anton Dupin, who still hasn't come through. Jess Myers, though, leading the consistency class. You could argue in difficult circumstances, but still leading the way at the moment. You've also got Paul Godden leading the Academy class. Craig Schill second in that one at the moment. He's got Scott Malcolm in consistency trying to come through. Craig Schill's nearest rival in his class is Niles de Kuiper, not far behind. But, you know, Craig's improved massively this season, hasn't he, Peter? We saw him come in for the very first time in one of his very first iRacing leagues early in the season. And, you know, he was just getting his eye in, just getting used to how iRacing is and doing some practice. But he's really improved, and he's now fighting amongst these boys a bit more often.
That he is, yeah. It's been fantastic to watch Craig Schill's progress throughout the season. I absolutely agree with that, and that's one of the benefits of racing in a league, is you get to know people a bit better, and you can often ask for help and things like that. And in most cases, you'll often find a friendly face to help out with anything iRacing related. And the thing about sim racing is as well, there's so much tech involved with software and hardware. It does help to have a friendly shoulder to not to cry on, but to ask. I tell you what, I needed a shoulder to cry on with my system yesterday, trying to get it to work, but it's much better now. But look what has happened here. All of a sudden, Fraser Smith's got a second wind with just over 4 minutes to go here, and all of a sudden, this 2-car battle becomes 3.
Yeah, indeed. Never mind 2 become 1, 2 become 3.
I was just going through my head there as well, Spice Girls, yeah. What was the...
I was wondering how much it'd take to get you to sing a bit of it. We will also, by the way, everyone, I know that someone mentioned it to me in the week, but obviously Peter does still owe us an appearance in the terrible shirt for Naveed Hussain winning a round of the championship, so we will try and get that sorted for the final round, everyone. You have our word on that. But look at this now. Fraser's got a great front row.
I won't need to worry about ironing it. It's not going to make much of a difference.
Yeah. We've got an interesting one here because there's still not long left of this race to go. Fraser keeps kissing that wall on the left-hand side before he turns in. That makes sure that he opens up the corner as much as possible. God, it's close to these walls around here. It's so sketchy. We've got Niles de Kuiper going down the order, I'm afraid. But we need to keep an eye on this because Corentin, lap after lap, he's looking more and more aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's looking at the... Oh, nearly clips the back of Damien Harris there and has to back out of it. And Damien very much the cork in the bottle now. This is now a 5-way battle, it would appear. Now, Niles de Kuiper has hit problems, and so is Craig Schill. Oh, it appears like they've both... Well, Craig is able to progress, but let's see what happens. Niles de Kuiper... that's... Oh, really unlucky. Just a bit of a racing incident there. It can happen. It is. There's so many different lines around that corner that it's very, very easy for that to happen. That's just bad luck.
Yeah, I think Craig just, trying to pile as much lock on as possible to try and get round the corner when he realised he was going wide, but unfortunately couldn't wind it off quick enough for Niles de Kuiper to be avoided there. Real shame between the two of them. Like you say, though, there's so many lines around there that you really have to have your wits about you if you know you're going to go side by side with anybody. It's a scary bit of circuit. This is Ben Hicks and Anders Lillejordet fighting for third in consistency class. Anders just getting ahead of Ben actually on that lap, but Ben wants to come straight back at him. Down the inside he goes. Niles coming back out of the pits there, you can see. Lillejordet around the outside manages to carry the pace and stay ahead, but back at the front with under 2 minutes to go now. This is actually becoming a proper train here, Peter. Everybody catching up. Damien Harris will see this on his relative, the little timing box and the bottom right of his iRacing software, and he will not be saying any pleasant words about it, I can tell you that. But this is again it's a real sort of ingredient to street racing, or well, street circuit racing, is having a train of cars with one guy at the front, that proverbial cork in the bottle.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Damien Harris is playing that role very, very well. He's defended firmly but very fairly as well, making just the one move. And Borg Anderson boshes into the wall, and that could be his day done, but he carries on. He maybe just got away with it there in the TC Motorsport car. Well, onto the final lap we go then. Guinness has a little nudge out to the inside, but thinks better of it going down into turn one. That's one big opportunity out of the way as they all leave about a millimetre of a gap. But the thing is, to be fast on a street circuit, we see it in, well, for most of our viewers will have seen the Monaco Grand Prix before, and you watch, like, I used to love those Daniel Ricciardo qualifying laps where he's just leaving absolutely nothing in reserve.
Yeah, they're absolutely amazing to watch. So too are these pair all of the time. Guinness goes round the outside, tries to carry the pace to have the inside for the next right-hander. Does not work for him. He has to hold on behind Damien Harris now, try and get the run down Seaside Way towards Firestone Turn. Look at this, darting this way and that way. He's not letting him through. Damien's going to maintain the inside line. Can Corrington go around the outside, then have the inside for Indy left? He cannot. He really needs to do something here. And it's, unfortunately, I think, got to be a send into the final corner, but it's not going to be enough. I think he's just going to concede here, go with the points. There might be contact behind. Looks like they've all sorted it out, but Damien Harris, what a defensive drive, you have to say. That was a beautiful, beautiful bit of driving. Damien Harris takes round 24 of the Simracersworld TCR Series.
Really thoroughly deserved there for Damien Harris, because he was put under the most severe of pressure. And also, how impressive is this from Jess Myers, 7th overall, first in the consistency class. And that is, you know what, that's been a performance that's been a long time coming for the Corgamobile.
Yes, indeed. Needed that in terms of championship points, did Jessica. And this is Paul Godden about to win the Academy class. Well done to Paul, finishing just ahead of Scott Malcolm. Louis Correa, despite being getting caught up in the incident earlier and having no wing mirrors left, he actually manages second in class, so fair play, Sunshine. And then we have Norbert Leitner, who's still making his way around, unfortunately. He'll be gutted about that earlier incident, but, you know, Fraser innocently ran wide, in my opinion, and it was just a bit of a, like I say, a pancake moment, as you called it, Peter.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit of a symptom of the kind of first lap melee which can happen. And I think that's Long Beach. I mean, street circuits are obviously narrow, but the opening sector at Long Beach is just so tough to get through clean. And we see action there in the real world and all the time in the sim as well. So, yeah, unfortunately, Norbert Leitner was kind of the guy to be squeezed out, but he does give us a bit of a show going over the line as well. Thanks, Norbert. That's good.
Oh, that'll be 15 grand. Either way,
Oof.
nice stuff from Norbert there. Fair play. And no rest for the wicked. Straight into the second race. Damien Harris, Corentin Guinez on the front row. Fraser Smith and Miguel Freitas on row 2. Then we have Roman Bokler and Mats Borg Anderson. Then it's Jessica Myers and Matthew Crisp, 2 stable mates at Fiercely Forward, ahead of Anton Dupin and Michael Blake. Then it's Anders Lillijordet and Ben Hicks on row 6, ahead of Paul Godden and Scott Malcolm. Following them is Louis Correa and Craig Schill, with Norbert Leitner, Niles de Kuiper, Jürgen Knockhart, Danny Fenning, and Bram Klaas, rounding out your field. Spice up your life, says Porsche Sport. They said they're only here for the safety car, and I'm not surprised. But interestingly that, well, I say interestingly, I suppose it's the fact that Pole is on the outside of the right-hander, but I suppose it's the inside for turn 1. Round 25 is about to get underway then here at Long Beach in the Simracersworld TCR Series. The revs do not rise, the wheels do not spin, but they are away all the same. Damien moving over a little bit just to make sure that Corentin has not got the overlap. He will do by the time they get out of the right-hander. Down towards turn 1. It's all about who's got the better run. There's a big incident in the background. Louis Correa, Jürgen Knockhart involved in that. We'll have to come back to it. Through turn 1 they go. A little bit of argy-bargy here and there. I could hear contact, but not really see it. Hear no evil, see no evil, you could say. Side by side through here. That's not going to work, boys. This is another HM Engineering car, hung out to dry around the outside. Manages to make it work though, Peter. Tight stuff, but really respectful from these guys around here.
Yeah, they all get through clean. Maybe a few lessons learned from the opening race. But, Jürgen Knockhart, not good start to race 2 for the McChallenge e-racing Belgium driver. Braking hard into turn 1 and just had to turn in at some point, but whoa, just tangles a little bit there. And, oh dear.
Louis Correa red butts in.
Oh dear. Louis Correa, not a fan of the McChicken sandwich, it would appear.
No,
oh, that's a massive send.
Oh, and Guinness puts it in the wall. Oh, it was a massive send indeed. And, well, I want to return to sender on that one. That has really hurt Corentin Guinez's evening. Look at that, nose to tail through the hairpin. It's horrible to get stuck up in that, because if you have to brake because the car in front of you slows down, it's a nightmare if you get punted from behind. I'm intrigued to see what the damage has done to Guinez's car in the long run. A bit further back, sorry, I noticed that Bram Klaas, Niles de Kuiper, Norbert Leitner and Danny Fenning are 2x2 down the straight. Who's going to sort this one out? Obviously, Norbert Leitner trying to make his way further up the order after effectively retiring from the first race, but still getting to the finish after some damage. What can he do about these boys? Because they're all... Oh, Niles has put it in the wall. Norbert Leitner, beautiful avoidance. Bram Klaas's car's broken. Oh, and he turns into Louis Correa, who thought he'd gone the right way. He's going to end up in the fountain. That was all a little bit clumsy from them there. Niles de Kuiper, unfortunately, the root cause, driving into the wall.
Well, it's a long face for Bram Klaas at Long Beach. Unfortunately, it's not been a good day for the Belgian. It just seemed like... Now, let's have a look. The Kuiper in the 334 car, he goes in first, both straight into the tyre wall, and then Bram Klaas, so unlucky, gets clipped and, well, then becomes a little bit of a tackling bag after that. And Craig Schill just about gets through clean. Knockhart goes through there as well. Goodness me, and I like you said, Chaz, how did Norbert Leitner avoid all of that?
Oh,
bang.
Louis went the right way, but, you know, Bram made his decision and thought, I need to get out of the way here. You know, the car's completely broken. So he jumped to the right, and unfortunately it was just a little bit too late for Louis to do anything about it. That's a real shame, that. But look at this now, weaving down the straight, because Damien knows he needs to break that slipstream. We've got the sparring partners, Fraser Smith and Damien Harris. It's a shame Norbert Leitner's not in there for a third one.
What we thought about the Spice Girls. This is hold tight.
God's sake. But yes, indeed it is. I'll agree. Well,
we need censor, we really do.
We need a sensor beep. I actually do have one, you know. I actually do
have.
You? Yes, I've just tested it. You won't be able to hear it at your end, which is a really frustrating thing. But I've really got quite the sensor beep mapped to my wonderful Elgato Stream Deck. So if I want to call you I can. There we go. Oh, as Matt Borg Anderson, he's going to have one thing to say about that, and that is... But yeah, I forgot I had that. You've reminded me. That is a shame, though, because we know how easy it is to do around here. But you do just bounce off the walls, don't you? That's the thing. You don't always hit the wall and stay in it. In street circuits like this, you often bounce off it, and it just causes more and more issues, doesn't it, mate?
Who sang that song? I'm bouncing off the walls again. Who was that? I can't remember now. Anyway, it shan't matter. Look, it shan't matter. But look at this, Damien O'Hara. Now this is interesting. He's now, I wouldn't say interestingly, he wasn't doing that when he had Guinness behind him.
He's obviously feeling more threatened by Fraser.
Yes, possibly, and Bokler in there too.
Yeah, Bokler's always quick, isn't he? He's always one to watch. Started 5th on the grid in this race, up to 3rd position. Doing a great job so far. And the thing is, he could actually help Damien here. If he starts to put Fraser under enough pressure, then it'll eventually take that pressure that Fraser is putting on Damien away, as Danny Fenning and Anders Lillejorde have had an issue. Anders jumping back to the pits, I'm afraid. What has gone on here, boys? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, double no.
Oh no. So this is Danny. Oh, he just stops and gets out of the way. I think Anders' issue actually happened separately to this. Yes, he'd already gone through. Oh, yeah, that's going to do it. Oh, and then Anton didn't realise he was going to go that slow. The front right's broken, and he becomes part of the water feature. That's not going anywhere, I'm afraid. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Look at... I was going to say Guinea's doing the fastest lap of the race last time round, but...
Big nudge.
Sorry
to cut across a big nudge there from Fraser Smith into the back of Damien Harris. And look at Miguel Freitas. He's like, hallelujah, let's have a go, boys.
This is what we want. Nose to tail racing through all of them. Absolutely mega stuff. Guinness is nearly a second behind Miguel Freitas, who has a little blip in and out. You can see them all not going all the way over to that wall. That's because you're not allowed to cross that blue line and go into the pits. You can get an almighty slowdown penalty if you do cross that. Miguel is continuing to have some issues, I'm afraid. Hopefully that doesn't get any worse, because the drivers behind will worry about that. But Damien Harris at the front, still leading very... I was going to say convincingly, but you know, it's his defending that's been convincing so far. You know, he's not broken away from anybody as such, but it's that... Oh, as Fraser's kissed the wall. We've seen him getting close to these walls all night. He has been hitting them going into corners, just knowing that the car can deal with it. But that was a bit of an unnecessary one, because it's like a lay-by on the right into there, isn't it? It's sort of, the wall goes away from you, but just as you get to the braking zone, it comes back, and you've got to try and straighten up without hitting that kink, and that's exactly what Fraser did. And then he kissed the wall out of there as well. So I think he's going to start really hurting the left-hand side of that Audi.
Yeah, I think that's why they call it the America of start that again. The Monaco of America, or the Monaco of the West, they call it, because it is a little bit like that. You get these slight changes in the walls. So you really need to know the circuit really, really well. And yeah, coming back to Damien Harris, he's done the job. He's done the most important thing you can do at any meeting at Long Beach, and that's qualify and pole. It's not as important at other races, but here at Long Beach, it is the most important thing you can do, because once, as Damien has proven, he's not any faster than the guys behind him. In fact, he might not maybe have as much one-lap pace. We don't know. But he's able to park the car on the apex where it needs to be. And he's done that beautifully. He hasn't made a mistake. If he had done, he would have been mugged by 3 or 4 cars by now. But that performance in qualifying has been absolutely vital for Damien Harris.
Yeah, it has. It's exactly what he needed. And it's helped his race meeting tenfold. Jessica Myers still leads the consistency class at the moment. Currently in 7th place overall. Not many movers and shakers inside the top 10. Ben Hicks is 3rd in class, where he started. Michael Blake's moved up to 9th. He started 10th on the grid, so he's got past Anton Dupin. Jürgen Knockart's actually gained 4 places despite having his issue early on, so he's doing all right as things go. But just ahead of him, actually, is Paul Godden, and that is for the Academy class lead as well. So Jürgen is he's actually on the brink of winning the academy class in this race, despite starting at the very back and even having an incident on the first lap. So, great turnaround.
Absolutely superb, yeah, and it was great to have Jürgen come in to join us in the commentary box last week after our race at Zolder, when I don't think there was any panels left on any of the cars after that. It was one of those days, but yeah, it was great to have a chat with Jürgen and hear a little bit more about the Mick Challenge, which is not trying to eat 40 ShareBox nuggets before you ask.
I'll give it a go.
Well, you can if you like, but yeah, it's a go-kart race for charity, which is a very good initiative.
Yeah, and they get a hell of a lot of people. I think he said they had something like 150 drivers that they needed to sort out that had joined in with it all, and it's just brilliant. It really is, and it does work with the McDonald's charities that they are so fantastically tied with. So fair play to Jürgen and the guys. Really, really good cause, and you know we always appreciate charity work. It's becoming the backbone of many a thing, really, in the world. This charity work, it's great. So fair play. Back at the front.
I mean, you have to commentate with me. I mean, that is charity work.
Well, you commentating with me is more like torture. But this lot. Well, obviously there's the usual compression here at the hairpin, but as you see there, everybody goes. I've noticed this at Long Beach. That everybody goes a little bit more to the inside than the car in front of them, just so they've got an eye down the inside. And the car at the back ends up nearly driving into the inside wall when they get onto the exit of the corner. You know, they take a bit of a wider way in and then try and tuck the car in and nearly drive into the wall. It's quite entertaining to watch when you realise. We'll have a look at it next time round, but this is great stuff. Oh, Fraser was a lot slower through turn one than Roman Beauclerc. Roman just about misses the back of him, but now that's how quickly it compresses round here, isn't it, Peter? It's all of a sudden the car in front slows down a tiny bit and you get caught up with them. There's nowhere to go round here. You can't just jump around the outside.
Yeah, and the thing is, of course, you can kind of do the old Mark Webber trick. You can see the driver in front's brake lights come on, blink, and hit the brake. So you just brake that tiny fraction of a second later. Now, often you'll find yourself pushing the brake pedal even harder to try and not run into the car in front. But yeah, that's the thing, is that other circuits you can maybe have a little look up the inside and there's room to get the move done. But yeah, this shows that you don't necessarily need, you know, swapping of positions all the time. Oh, it's Damon Owen Harris has a big... Now, was that a lock-up or was that a blip?
I think that was the right rear just locking up and maybe coming off the ground because he really chucked it in.
These cars have got anti-lock braking system. I would get a refund on that.
Yeah, I think
that
maybe
wasn't an optional extra.
Maybe just dragging the right rear, you know, just having it just skimming the surface. They have added a newer smoke model into iRacing, so we do get a bit more smoke and it's harder to see
it's like
through
a Dr. Dre video now.
Yeah. Yes, it is, mate. It certainly is. But this is, I mean, considering how feisty all the drivers are in this train, it's actually been rather stagnant so far, hasn't it, really? I mean, there's been some little looks here and there, maybe the odd swap of position, but it's not changed around that much.
No, it hasn't, but I think in an interesting way, you see the drivers having to really try and size up each other. You see them moving around a little bit more. You see and think, can I fit through there? No. Can I fit through there? No. And that, you wouldn't see that on a big wide open racetrack where they know exactly where they can make the moves, and they'll sort of almost try to be in a line and then pounce and sort of try and ambush the car in front. But here at Long Beach, they're just trying to create any possible weakness of the car in front or defend from the car behind wherever they can, because they know in most cases you can keep the car behind if you've got your eyes on the back of your head, and that's what Damien Harris has done so well this meeting, and it's been fascinating to watch him just keep that pack behind him the whole time.
Yeah, it's always good fun to watch these guys go up against one another, and on a track like this that you could say kind of levels the playing field a bit. You know, there's not as many places to overtake. They do often follow each other a lot more. But it just gives you a real highlight of people's approaches to each and every race and how they go about doing it. You know, you have the drivers that are, as it says on Fraser's car, full send, and then you have the drivers that are a little bit more reserved, a bit more tame, like a tame Iberian, you could say, Miguel Freitas. But around here, you know, opportunism is more important than anywhere else in the world. Much like track position, as we said, you know, if you have a car that's making a mistake and running a little bit wide, or they've just got compromised pace. You need to see, can you squeeze down the inside? Can you fit between that car and that wall? I mean, we saw Miguel Freitas do it earlier, and I think that's one of the main qualities to have. But these guys, they're just not close enough yet, and I don't know whether that's down to the car, because it doesn't really suit this circuit as well as we would have thought. But you know, the opportunities are still there. There just aren't as many of them. I think they're all playing it a bit cute, aren't they, tonight?
Yeah, I think so. You're right. I think you've got to. We see it at some other circuits as well, where you've kind of got to your best bet is your opponent making a mistake rather than actually lunging past them on track. The other thing we've got to concern is that this is our These are our championship all-stars. These are the top guys in the championship, and they have been at every circuit we've been to. So the one thing is that they're all on a very similar level. So those overtaking maneuvers would be difficult anyway. But it's I think you just got to try and force the car in front into that mistake, and like you said, Chaz, be ready to take advantage of it, because you've got to have lightning reactions to spot that there's just a gap opening up, and then you've got to go for it. But what's interesting is the car's not getting much aerodynamic draft at all, and it's quite a long front straight here at Long Beach. Yeah,
it's a very, very long one indeed, but I suppose maybe helped by the fact that it isn't completely straight. It is quite the curve, and I wonder whether the car does get that much aero drag from it just because of how gradual the curve is. It's interesting.
Could be, yeah. I never thought of it like that. It could well be that it's actually causing the car to push slightly, maybe with a little bit of aero wash. I don't know. Of course, the cars don't have a great deal of aero on them, but of course the TCR rules. These TCR machines, we see them in the World Touring Car Championship, and a lot of those races run on street circuits, and often it's quite a similar result to what we're seeing right here.
Yeah, that's for sure. As we see Corentin Guinez, that was an absolutely it was beautiful move. He went down the inside, he got back out of it, took a wider line, waited for Miguel Freitas to just run slightly wide on the exit, tucked himself in, and away he went. We also had Ben Hicks and Anton Dupin racing very closely together on that lap. Sorry, apologies, it was Ben Hicks and Scott Malcolm on that lap. They were right together. Or was it? No, Chaz is talking absolute once again. It was Norbert Leitner and Anton Dupin. There you go. Finally got it right. There were a few change arounds on my timing screen, but Norbert Leitner got past Anton Dupin for P10. And this is how he got it done. Just going to jump out, go down the inside. Anton said in the chat on YouTube he wasn't happy with this evening already because there's just absolutely no grip out there. I imagine it's quite hot. We'll have a quick look at the graphic. 39 degrees Celsius track temperature, so it is mighty hot indeed, as you'd expect, as Michael Blake has just lost 2 places here to Leitner and Dupin.
Yeah, you see Norbert Leitner going up the inside here into turn 1, lunging hard on the brakes, and Blake just has to duck out of it a little bit. Leitner using every last bit of the road. That's just poor fortune. It's nobody's fault. It's poor fortune there for Michael Blake, and just shows you that how much if you just brake at that very last minute, you've got to hope that the driver on the outside has seen you. But back at the front, well, this will be the white flag is being prepared. So the last lap, here we go then. Actually, hold tight, I'll use that one again.
I've still got 2.5 minutes yet.
Oh, well, I can't add up. Dearie me.
To be fair, in the session, because of the gridding up, we've got like 30 seconds to go.
You're flattering me, but no. I just can't count. Oh my word! Sorry, viewers.
It just adds to the entertainment of these wonderful Tuesday evenings that we've got. Porsche Sports says Peter's got his shorts on. I'm not sure quite what reference that is, but yeah.
I'm trying to. I'm worried now. I'm trying to think what that means. Oh God.
Well, I'm still spotting the because I went out and met our David today. I have the Chaz Draycott Media polo shirt on, so the top half is nice and smart. I've done my hair and everything, and then I've got my raggedy old black trackies on. So nothing quite fancy here. If I was on camera, it'd look all right. But yeah, trust me, the full attire is not in show. Anyway, enough about my trackies, because Never thought I'd say that. But here's a fantastic battle going on at the front now. This has come alive. Fraser knows he's not got long to do this. Beauclerc and Guinez are right behind there, waiting in the wings. Is he going to give Damien a reason to get angry in Discord again? Let's have a look, because this could really boil over. We've got a minute of the race to go now. Out the final hairpin one more time. What do you reckon, Peter? Are we going to see a change on this final lap? Are we going to see an incident? What do you reckon? Or is it going to stay nice and uniform?
Well, we're going to see another lap, and that's a bonus on what I said about a minute and a half ago. So that's good news. Well, I think, yeah, like you said, here comes the argy-bargy. I think. I don't think Fraser Smith's ever going to. We know that Fraser Smith will always have a go, especially with Damien Harris. This will be killing him to see Damien leading. He'll really want to try and get by Roman Beauclerc there in third. Don't count him out. Guinez has recovered from his earlier issue, and well, here goes Fraser Smith getting a very good exit there. Damien Harris sees that and goes to cover, and now through we go up towards Tecate turn 6, and then on to Pine Avenue.
I'm glad you know how to pronounce that one, because I looked at it on the track map and thought, nah. But Damien Owen Harris. Oh, very close to the wall. I think Fraser might have just kissed it with his wing mirror there. Damien just needs to cover the inside here, as he has done the last couple of laps. They all follow very closely. Looks like Damien's done enough. Moves back over to the racing line. All is fair. It wasn't long side. There was no squeezing. Fraser looks down the inside. He's putting the pressure on. He's going to go a little bit deep. Is Damien Harris going to take 2 out of 2? Fraser goes down the inside. There is contact. Oh, Beauclerc's up on 2 wheels. Guinez is going to come through. Damien's been lucky not to lose out from that, but it's going to be 2 from 2 for Damien Harris. And look at that, Corentin Guinez, second place. Very opportunistic at the end, but it's another win for Damien. Fantastic drive, fantastic battle. You could argue Fraser had to go for that one. And it's 2 from 2 for Jess Myers as well.
Brilliant stuff from Jess Myers in the 117 car, the Corgi Mobile, as we lovingly know it. And yeah, brilliant drive again. 2 wins in the consistency class. And Jürgen Knocker is going to give the knockout punch here to win in the academy class. And well, I wonder if we get a chance to have another look at that last lap incident. Like you said, you kind of knew that Fraser Smith was going to have a go. I'm sure Damien Harris knew as well, and he shut the door as much as he possibly could. There was contact, and well, really Roman Beauclerc was the guy who came off worst there. So here they go, just piling in. Well, the door was open enough to have a go, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, I think that the door was open. I think if anything, you know, Damien decided to close said door really, because Fraser was there. He could have left the car's width. There was contact before the apex, and fair play to Fraser. You know, he didn't carry on and plant his foot and just bin Damien out of the way. Yeah, he very easily could have. And in that instance there, he got on the brakes and he thought, no, I'm not making an incident out of this. Beauclerc got very unlucky with that contact, but either way, fantastic race once again though, Peter. Really thoroughly enjoyed that one.
As did I. Yeah, that was. We knew that it was going to be an explosive finish, and do you know what? I think it was a justified win there for Damien Harris, because to keep that motley crew behind you for the entire race, that must be really. He will be. His heart will be going at 10 to the dozen right now, I would imagine, because any little mistake, and he would have been mugged there.
Yeah, definitely. It can so easily change around with just the tiniest bit of contact in an incident like that. So it's good to see that they all made it to the end at least, and still they got their respective championship points out of it. What we're going to do is just have a quick look at the results of the first 2 races from tonight. Damien Harris taking the win with Corentin Guinez right behind, and Fraser Smith in 3rd place. Miguel Freitas finished in 4th with Roman Beauclerc 5th ahead of Mats Borg Anderson and Jessica Myers. I'm pretty sure that the second race finished exactly the same order. Matthew Crisp finished in 8th ahead of Anton Dupin. Michael Blake rounds out your 10. Anders Lidajorde was 11th ahead of Ben Hicks and Paul Godden, who won the academy class, followed by Scott Malcolm, Louis Correa, Craig Schill, Norbert Leitner, Niles de Kuiper and Jürgen Knockout were 1 lap down, Danny Fenning was 2 laps down, and Bram Class was, funnily enough, not classified. And my good colleague Peter will go over the second race results for you. Apologies. There you go.
Pleasure, I shall. So Damien Harris classified then as your winner, a second ahead of Quarantine Greenhouse, who nabs 2 positions at the flag, and that, I think, could be absolutely critical to the championship outcome. Fraser Smith is classified third, followed by Roman Vogler, Miguel Freitas and Mats Borg Anderson. Jess Myers for fiercely forward in the red and black Corgi Mobile, winner in the consistency class and 7th overall, ahead of 3 precision class drivers as well. Mighty impressive for Jess. Michael Blake was 11th, followed by Scott Malcolm and Ben Hicks. And Jurgen Knocker, your winner in the Academy class, followed by Paul Gordon and Craig Schill. A class podium for Craig. Great stuff. Anders Lily Jordet was 17th, followed by Niels de Kuiper, Danny Fenning, Louis Correa and Bram Klaas, who was not classified, as you said, Chaz. You beat me to it with that one.
That's the thing. The pun game is strong in this commentary box.
It's fierce, yeah.
Very strong. But we are at that point of the evening, everybody, where we'll just be taking a quick break. Craig Schill, as ever, is just out putting some laps in warm-up. He's the only driver out on track at the moment. But if you give Peter and I about 5 minutes, everybody, we will be right back with you here on Simracersworld TV, and we'll cover the final race of the evening. We'll see you in a few.
Black and white.
Hello again, everybody. Chaz, Draycott and Peter MacKay here for the Simracersworld TCR Series from Long Beach. Peter, we've had an absolutely wonderful race night so far. Not as much chaos as we usually see. You know, this track, you go here and people say, oh, get ready for carnage. But everybody's behaved themselves really well so far, I'd say. What do you reckon?
I would agree. Yes, absolutely. I was just looking at the comments there in our YouTube chat here on Simracersworld TV as Anders Lilly tests the durability of his Audi bodywork there. And we've got drivers coming into the chat complaining about Audi's understeering. That's like Eskimos complaining about it being cold in the Arctic.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, snow is cold. Oh, what a shame.
Oh, that water's very wet. That Audi understeers.
That just reminds me of the whole Lee Evans. Oh, it's all right. It's dry rain situation. But, yeah, in fairness, you know, it isn't a track that really jumps out at me as a touring car circuit. You know, well, we've both seen touring cars, especially in the World Touring Car Championship, take on some very odd street circuits and really a bunch of tracks that you wouldn't expect them to go to. You know, if it was a World Championship, you'd expect sort of Grand Prix style circuits, maybe some of the shorter layouts that you can get of them, but wow, it's I mean, oh, there you go. Yes, Anders. Shook a fat hanny, lad. You've got to love it, though. It's the proper ASBO spec final corner, that. But, yeah, it's, you know, it's not a touring car circuit for me, but it's intriguing to see how it goes, because this is the thing with sim racing. You never know till you give it a go, do you? And you have the ability to go and do that with sim racing. I mean, we've got, I think they're doing it in real life as well. We've got NASCAR at Bristol on the dirt circuit this week as well, which is just unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, fantastic. And I think variety is very important, and that's one thing that sim racing kind of gives you, that ultimate variety, really, any car on any circuit you like. And I like to see it. There's nothing worse than a standard boring combination that everyone knows, and you're just like, it's nice to see the drivers challenged a little bit. Nice to see them sweat a bit.
Indeed, and someone that will be sweating this one is Scott Malcolm and his teammate Michael Blake's Immortal Team Mad front row for the final race of the night. Now, as always, this grid fills up quite quickly, so we'll just wait for everyone to take their place and you can read it for yourself. Jessica Myers, interestingly, there in 6th position. It looks like we're actually going to get this underway then. So round 26 of the Simracersworld TCR Series is away. And it's a good start from Michael Blake on the inside. Norbert Leitner is going to be a spoiler in the pack here. Goes between the two of them, finds a gap. Thank you very much, boys. I'll see you in a bit. That was gutsy, Peter.
Very gutsy indeed as they pile down towards turn 1. And look at Matthew Chris. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's the Spice Girls.
Oh,
it's car around.
Biff. Big nudge there. And it's goes. Oh, my word, it's a car park. Oh, dear.
I think everyone else got away with it. Scott Malcolm didn't.
Scott's been malkied.
Oh, and Roman Boakler's in there as well. I'm not sure what happened to Scott. We will have a look. Oh, Jess Myers is around. Jess Myers is in the wall. Oh, reversing onto the racing line. That's... Oh, come on. Jess isn't afraid of contact. It's safe to say that. Oh, now, has that broken Niles de Kuiper's front right? I think it has. I think that tiny touch there... Yeah, I think that just broke Niles de Kuiper's car. That little touch. So, oh, sorry, we'll have a look at what happened. Oh, a little bit of netcode involved. Into the wall goes Jess. The reversing across wasn't great, but that touch, yeah, that broke Niles' car. That's all it takes.
That's devastating.
He was gutted. It was quite lucky he didn't hit Craig Schill as well there, to be honest. We will try and piece together what happened right at the start as well, involving Scott Malcolm. Anton Dupin had an issue at the very start. I think he was the car that maybe got turned around. There's a bit of argy-bargy in the middle.
Scott Malcolm just got pancaked there and then shoved into the wall.
Was that Jess Myers that hit Scott as well?
I think it might have been.
Oh, no. So Jess went, yeah, very wide. Oh, there's a first touch with Scott, and then... No, the right rear was broken. The right rear was already broken from that first hit, and Scott went around. So, Jess, the suspension breaker out there this evening. But look at this, the top 4, 3.5 seconds clear of anybody else, and that anybody else includes Corentin Guinez. Now, again, I'm going to come back to the situation here with toe links and suspension braking. I like the fact it's realistic like that. You know, we've seen in the Simracersworld Formula 3 series before, cars have wheel-to-wheel contact. iRacing Damage Model does its thing where the wheel pops off or goes all wonky, and then it comes back. Now, with these recently, they've been a lot more sensitive to that, and we've had punctures and suspension braking and all sorts, and cars going off a few corners later because the contact has broken it, but the car was still drivable, albeit in a straight line. Now, I'm all for that, you know, because while the damage model, yes, people complain about how intensive it is and how sensitive it can be, I think it really adds to the realism, and as a broadcaster, it's kind of what we want, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah, absolutely. As broadcasters, we certainly want the most realistic prospect possible. I think that's what has come so far in such a short space of time. And yeah, I think, you know, if you go wheel to wheel at over 100 miles an hour, someone's going to break on a real car. And of course, if you wanted to actually draw the comparison to a real world TCR car, now these cars are built to a criteria to be an affordable race car. Therefore, they won't be built like a factory Le Mans car that can take a pounding. You know, they will be. I wouldn't say one of these cars would be as resilient as a BTCC spec car, for example. I'd hope not for the price.
Yeah, very true. I'm sorry to Mats Borg Andersen, but I'm going to point this out here. He got that preoccupied with flashing the lights at Niels de Kuyper coming out of the pits that he missed his braking point. At least he knew it.
Right.
At least he knew it. Fair play to him. He knew it, and he ripped up the handbrake and managed to get himself out of the situation. But yeah, that won't have been his finest moment there. Oh, was Fraser Smith's had a big accident and gone back to the pits. What's happened here? Car's got a bit.
Lost his DRL. Oh no.
Oh, the front left's broken. Front left is broken on that. I can tell you that for free. Danny Fenning overtook. That's after Fraser had the issue. Let's have a look. Fraser passed Mats Borg Andersen. Now, was there contact between them? It looks to me like he's already got damage on that front left. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it seems so. It's obviously something that's happened before, but the one thing is for sure is that Fraser's been absolutely flat out all night, and he has been pushing the boundaries, as you have to do if you want to win on a street circuit.
Yeah, that's the thing. You do need to you can't hold back, can you? You know, it is all about being as close to the walls, running those tiny margins as much as you can. Either way, it's just got to be very, very close. Now, if your car's got a 1, a 9 or an 8 in it, you'll do all right at the minute. We've got Norbert Leitner in number 19 leading the way from 18, Matthew Crisp, 118 Michael Blake, number 1 Corentin Guinez, and the 999 of Miguel Freitas in 5th place. Damien Harris ruining the symmetry with 503. Thank you, Damien. But look at Danny Fenning. 12 places gained in this race by Danny. He's avoided all the mayhem, and he's leading the academy class, and he's 7th overall. What a drive so far, Sunshine. He's just got to keep his nose clean now for the only remaining 15 minutes at Long Beach in a touring car, which, you know, no pressure. But, don't say it, Chaz. There's a wing mirror falling off there. But what a great drive it's been so far from Danny Fenning. Fair play. He's not had an easy night so far, so this makes up for it. Although I say that,
but he's got big company now from Lily Jordi and his teammate Mats Borg Andersen as well, as they all pile down towards turn 1. And getting your braking point here is so difficult. There's a big bump just as you get on the brakes, and Fenning, well, he's certainly. I think he's certainly thinking about that checkered flag, even though it's over 13 minutes away. Well, the thing is though, Fenning's not necessarily got to worry about Anderson or Lily Jordi. He's got to worry about Jürgen Nockert behind him, because that is his class rival, of course.
Yeah, that's very true. There are certain drivers you need to pick your battles with, so he'll have his eyes very much fixed on that behind. It looks like the car's actually understeering a bit. He's got a bit of damage on the right door, but yeah, it seems it's not behaving its best. Although Jürgen Nockert gets very cautious. Oh, would you believe it? Well, someone compared my commentary to James Hunt the other day because, you know, no punches pulled, just, oh, would you believe it, it's so-and-so again. But I'm sorry, but Jessica Myers, the front of that car says guilty. There was big contact there. I think, to be fair, though, you know, Ben Hicks had to get out of it because Jürgen was slow. Jess Myers didn't expect it, and thank you, Ben. Get out of the way, please. Oh, dear.
Pretty unceremonious, wasn't it?
That's the word, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, boff, straight in the face.
Yeah, there's no sugarcoating that, I'm afraid. You can have as many adorable corgis on your car as you want, but, yeah, that's...
That corgi is a smiling assassin.
It really is.
It's just got the big smiley face going, I will ruin you.
Yeah, exactly. But that's
like
that.
It smiles at you before ripping up your carpet.
Yeah, it's the sort of dog that you get home and dog looks really happy and proud of itself. You go in the living room and its bed has been torn to bits, and yeah, there's just stuff everywhere. I've had that many a time. I used to have a staffy, and honestly, they like chewing things. I know a staffy that ate a light bulb once.
Oh.
Yeah, that can't be nice to have. Either way. Norbert Leitner.
My. I hope it swallowed it whole.
Would have been interesting. No. Norbert Leitner still leads this race. Matthew Crisp second. Michael Blake third at the moment. Now, these three have got 2.7 seconds over Corentin Guinez. I say that like they're all stuck together, really. Oh, no. Somebody's had an off. And it's Danny Fenning. Now he's gone down the inside of Jürgen Knockout, gone past Jürgen. Side by side. Oh, no. Well, tough one. I don't think he knew that Jürgen was still down the inside that much, but, you know, you could say a little bit more careful through there. As there's Niles de Kuiper. He was a lap down at this point. What's gone on here? Oh, he's just decided to stop the car and get out of the way. So nice and gentlemanly stuff from Niles de Kuiper. Michael Blake needs this, though, doesn't he, mate? He needs to be leading the consistency class, and he's doing a good job of it at the moment. He's got a few places over Anders Lillejorde, so a nice buffer.
Very nice buffer and a very good chunk of points as well to finish here in the consistency class. Third overall would give a really good haul of points there, and we haven't mentioned much about Matthew Crisp, but it's been a superb drive from Matthew, and running up in second spot right now. And tell you what, Guinez is not pulling a great deal of time out of them, and neither is Damien Harris, our double winner so far today. So these guys are doing a top job.
They are indeed. Mega performance so far, although you say that, actually. Sorry, mate. But Corentin Guinez did the fastest lap of the race last time round. He's a second quicker. He did a 26.9, and he brought 9/10 of a second down in terms of the gap on Matthew Crisp, and actually 0.8 of a second on Michael Blake. It was another 9/10 quicker that time round, so he's getting quicker and quicker, is Guinez. But there is still the gap. You know, he still has to make sure that he has this pace consistently. That's the difference. You know, we can all do one lap quickly, but it's dependent on how often you can do said laps. This is Jürgen Knockout just ahead of the Anton Dupin Jessica Myers battle. Anton down the inside. Nicely done in turn one. You've got to think the damage to the front of that fiercely forward car will mean that it'll be no longer going fiercely forward, or more, as I heard them describe it, bravely backwards.
Yes, I wonder if the Corgi Mobile's nose will be running as well. I'm sure that radiator at the front of the car will have about 6 holes in it by now, with fluid pouring out everywhere. But if it were a real Audi, I mean, how many times have you seen an Audi looking like that with about 10 other cars in front, all have hit into one another on the outside lane of the motorway? It's always the outside lane of the motorway with Audis, isn't it? And it's got, you know how cars have lane keep assist now? It won't actually allow you to drive in any other lane apart from the outside lane. But how many times have you seen like a crumpled sort of 2-litre TDI A3 saloon with just water or fluid or whatever they put in intercoolers or radiators just pouring all over the motorway?
Indeed, it would be. It wouldn't be the nicest of situations. As Jürgen Knockout, whoa! He only gets a knock in the art there from Anton Dupin. Manages to stay ahead, though. Still leading the academy class. I'm not sure whether he's just going to let Anton go here. His countrymen, the 2 Belgians, yeah, he's even on the brakes around there. He's just saying, yeah, go on, mate. I don't want any more contact. Thank you very much. You go through. And the Flemish Sim Sports driver, he's had a steady evening. You know, it's not been the worst of nights for Anton, but obviously wasn't so pleased with the contacts and stuff earlier. And the lack of grip. But still pushing on. Thank you as well, everybody, for pushing on and dealing with the stutters and so on. Like I say, I have requested an answer on what could be causing it from the guys at SDK. They have a wonderful overlay and a wonderful system. You know, it's not their fault. It's software being software. It could be my end. It could be me not doing the most recent Windows update. We'll have to see. But I did only notice it on Sunday night that it started happening. Didn't realise that it was SDK. Either way.
Did you spill some Copperberg in your computer by any chance?
It's that colourful, it looks like it, but no. I did not, I'm afraid. I've actually found a very, very wonderful new favourite cider from the wonderful Aldi, actually. They have some incredible beers and ciders at Aldi, but this isn't a paid promotion, it's genuine. But they have a fruit, sort of a Nordic berries cider called Alska, and it's absolutely wonderful. I've not got one tonight, though, unfortunately. Either way, no one cares, because Norbert
I have to echo your sentiments about the beer selection in Aldi and Lidl too, actually.
Yes.
Very good beer selections, both of them. And wine list. I must say, the wine, very good wine list.
Can't wait to go to Germany later in the year and try more of them there.
Oh, yes. Belgium. No, Belgium's where it's all about. That's the place for beer.
Yes, indeed. Well, again, coming back to our friend Mr. Addison, when I spoke to him today, you know, I mentioned that I was jealous that out of the Clio Cup Europe gigs, he's got Spa this year, and it's the one place I really, really want to go. Is down the inside is where Corentin Guinez wants to go on Michael Blake, and to be fair, Michael just allows the move to happen. There's no point in fighting that there. He just needs to run his own race.
We could go and watch.
Sorry?
I've got a Renault Clio. We could go and watch.
Could indeed. And Porsche Sports saying Chaz is on the cider hype again. Yeah, but to be fair, I got rid of my man bun a few years ago, so, you know, I'm all right. Jürgen Knockaert leads the academy class at the moment. Jess Myers quite close to the back of that car. Paul Godden only 1.2 seconds behind as well, and that's, of course, the academy class lead. But Jürgen Knockaert back up there again after Danny Fenning had that earlier incident. Now, Jürgen's not got a right wing mirror, so is he going to see any sends coming down the inside of this hairpin? Probably not. Either way, Jess Myers takes a title line. Paul Godden gets a decent run, but can't find anywhere to go. 5 minutes to go tonight, Peter. This has flown by.
It has. It really has indeed. And certainly, as usual, the reverse grid race has been the most attritional and the most frantic. And certainly, Jess Myers at the Corgi Mobile has certainly given us plenty of crash. Bang! Wallop!
Oh no!
No, from the lead of the academy class. Oh, and he's blown his engine. Ouchera. Oh, no.
That was massive.
Oh, no.
Absolutely massive, Jürgen Knockaert. He just seemed to simply just miss it. You know, it's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy
you don't
to
miss it by much.
Easy to focus on the car in front, but I don't think there's much any of them could have done that. And Louis Correa got an absolutely wonderful run through that, but Jessica Myers couldn't have done much there. Paul Godden couldn't have done much either. And look at the state of those cars, Peter. That's a very, very expensive mess right there. But no
they're
such...
knackered.
Yeah,
You're getting knackered.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's terrible, Peter. You should be ashamed of yourself. Norbert Leitner leads the race still. He's got no such worries. He's going to come across about 40 kilos of debris on the exit. Look how close even he is getting to that wall. You've got to think that if you are out front like that, you know, you don't need to push the limits that much, but I suppose that's how he's managed to keep his lead. It's 6.2 seconds back to Matthew Crisp, who he's having his own great race, with Guinez going for 3 podiums out of 3, and I think this could be the championship for Guinez, you know, if he rounds this out, because he was almost an entire race meeting's points ahead of everybody else a week or so ago, and I'm pretty sure that he could be on the brink of doing this. I'll get the points and everything up now and just have a quick look and see what cracks on. But yeah, it's...
Well, I've proven I can't add up to 2. I can almost get to 1.5, but 2 no. So I'll leave that to you, Chaz. Oh, look, here we go. Guinez around the outside here. And, is he going to get it sealed up? Wow. You don't see that one very often. Me and Matthew Chris thinking, how you done that? But parks it. Block pass. Block pass. Very, very nice. I like that. Nicky Hayden style.
But because Guinez had the wider run, he's got a really good bit of speed around the outside. Fantastic fighting from the pair of them, though. Really shows how much he can do on this circuit. Guinez needs to be careful with how much room he's leaving, though. That was barely a car's width there. There could have been contact and a big incident, but he's got the inside line for turn 1. Turns in a little bit late just to make sure he opens up the corner, and he is now in front. Of course, Damien Harris getting ahead of Michael Blake there as well. Michael just picking his battles. He's got his teammate or stablemate, Miguel Freitas, behind him. But it's another wonderful performance from Corentin Guinez so far. Roman Bokler is second in the championship. Coming into this race meeting, he was 34 points behind. So I think on some of the other drivers, I think he's taking it. Although you get 60 points for a race win, actually. So, yeah, stuff that. You need to be 180 points clear. So going into, if it's even-ish on points compared to tonight, there's still 6 drivers that could win the championship. Fraser Smith's 133 points off. So
I feel like we should go to Brands Hatch in the wet for a proper season showdown.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Toe links broken everywhere.
Yeah. Now, Ronald Moons, poor old Jürgen Knocker is getting this far too hard. Bless him. He's just crashed out of the lead, and all we're worrying about is McDonald's puns. But anyway, Ronald Moons has just won the championship on pole, fastest lap, you name it. He goes, for me, a big smack.
Honestly,
solid gold.
How have we not thought of that one? You know, you and I, Peter, we're the self-claiming king of puns when it comes to motorsport, but honestly, that's gold. That is Ronald. Fair play. And it's ironic he's called Ronald, isn't it, really, considering it's a McDonald's pun. But there's Damien Harris. Sorry, I can't hold that together. Damien Harris goes down the inside of Matthew Crisp. Makes it nice and easy. I love watching these cars race together. It's especially when they're sort of in the middle of a pack like this. It's like watching some of the Jordans from the late 90s and early 2000s fighting together on track. It's just awesome. Really good looking cars and great teamwork as well from them. But I mean, well, far from the butt of the joke tonight is Norbert Leitner. He's made the most out of this, and we do see this quite often, don't we, Peter? People playing the format to their advantage. He had a bit of a rotten moment in race 2, but he's bounced back from that and held the lead in race 3.
Yeah, absolutely superb. And that's the great thing about having 3 sprint races, is if you have a nightmare, you can recover over the course of the night. And that's exactly what Norbert Leitner has done, and this has been an absolutely prime time drive. Superb.
Yeah, it's been an absolute corker. Norbert Leitner, the Hungarian, the only winner tonight for HM Engineering, but even still, he doesn't care. He takes the checkered flag. Brilliant stuff from Norbert. Corentin Guinez takes second place, one step closer to his second title. Damien Harris and Matthew Crisp just behind with Miguel Freitas in there as well. Michael Blake wins the consistency class. Well done, Sunshine. And it's looking like Louis Correa is going to have a win in the Academy class. Craig Schill currently second in that one. So Louis just needs to hold on around here. The car in front of him is not a Toyota, it's Niles de Kuiper. A lap down. Niles gets out of the way. Just says, after you, Louis. Well done, mate. Nicely done. Louis Correa takes you in the Academy class. Awesome stuff. Well done. Craig Schill joins the Let's Only Have a Right Wing Mirror Club, but he's still going to get second place. Another highlight of how much Craig has improved this season. 11th overall as well, Peter. You could argue it's a smaller grid, but you still need to put the car there. Great stuff from Craig.
On, let's be honest, the toughest circuit on the sim. Right up there with the Nürburgring Nordschleife in terms of difficulty. Top marks for Craig Schill. Well done. And while we're on the Murrayisms, Chaz, the car in front is unique, except for the one behind, which is identical.
Yes, I was.
Love it.
You know what? I was actually, and to give everyone a bit of context of why I have to mention this to Peter. Peter very generously gave me a copy of Murray Walker's autobiography in audiobook form, and I've been listening to it in the many short journeys that I've done in the car. And I got to the point today where he explained that pun and why he said it. Basically because there was a rallycross race going on, there was a driver out front that was racing, and his teammate was in the next heat. But if somebody didn't make their heat, someone from the next heat jumped in their place. And he didn't expect there to be an identical car out there, so he was just about to say, oh, the car in the lead is identical, and then he realised that his teammate was right in front of him because there was two of them. So there you go. But either way, it's a wonderful audiobook. If you have not listened to it, please do, because honestly, the things Murray has done away from commentary is just barely believable. He lived a hell of a life. As look at this, we get a drifting
Almost
show.
won the war on his own.
Yeah, he did. Oh, there's a wall there, mate. What we should do, actually, is do something to do with this broadcast. We'll bring up the results for the feature race. I just get ahead of myself enjoying this. What a win for Norbert Leitner. 7.5 seconds, albeit a few tenths short. Corentin Guinez second place. Damien Harris third ahead of Matthew Crisp. Good result for Fiercely Forward there, third and fourth. Miguel Freitas, a strong night for him with fifth. Michael Blake wins the consistency class in sixth ahead of Mats Borg Anderson and Anders Lillejorde. Anton Dupin finishes 9th with Louis Correa in 10th. Craig Schill and Paul Godden 11th and 12th. We then have Ben Hicks and Danny Fenning with Niles de Kuiper and Roman Bokler. Unfortunately, a lap down in 16th. Jürgen Knockhart 17th. Scott Malcolm 18th. Jessica Myers 3 laps down after that monumental accident. Fraser Smith was 20th and Bram Class, unfortunately, finishing early. Someone is making a right racket there, and it's Mats Borg Anderson. But he's just enjoying himself out there and, well, trying to make his bill a bit more expensive by the look of it.
Well, that's one way to do it, that's for sure.
Yeah, what happened here, officer? Nothing. Right then, I suppose. I mean, I suppose. I mean, we always enjoy doing them, don't we? We need to have a quick chat with some drivers that have had some very interesting evenings tonight. And the first one we get is none other than Damien Harris. And obviously 2 race wins tonight, Damien. It's one of your best nights in the series. Did you expect it to come here out of all places at Long Beach?
You know what? I ran here in the officials last week, and my pace was there. But I've been bottling it every week. It was nice. Yeah, I must say I got the qualifying time in early, which I think you need to do with the temperatures. And it was just a race of defending all race pretty much. Very, very tough, both races.
Well, it looked like a lot of fun either way. I mean, it's definitely a fun track to drive on its own, but when you're racing that fiercely, pardon the pun, it really is like it can be a bit of a procession, as we said early on, but that doesn't mean that the race isn't interesting. Peter and I have both said before that the best races don't always contain all of the overtakes. It's the chase that's quite exciting. Did it feel that way from where you were?
Well, the margin for error is so small in a track like this. I mean, if you didn't get a braking point wrong, you're in the wall. And it did feel like the pressure was on the entire race. And yeah, it was. I should imagine it was still a great race to watch from the outside. But yeah, I certainly needed a break after that second race.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, really enjoyed that.
Well, some strong championship points as well. I mean, going into this one, you were third in the championship, 88 points off Corentin Guinez. Tonight would have done you a few favours in that way, of course, but maybe not race 3 as much. But taking 2 wins, there's never anything bad coming of that, to be fair. Do you think that there's an outside chance that you could still challenge for the title at the end?
I think I've had too many bad luck in a couple of rounds, and I think I'm going to need Corentin to have a bad round next week.
Yeah.
For me to stand any chance. I mean, I think Roman is still ahead of me, so I'm going to need a bit of luck. But never say never. It might happen. Fingers crossed. That's all we can do.
Indeed, and I mean, I'm sure you'll agree. We've all seen many fantastic championship finales in touring car championships at Brands Hatch before, so it's a hell of a place to do it. But either way, it was great to see you get those wins tonight, Damien. You drove a really stellar performance in both of them. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before you go?
Yeah, as always, everyone who's watching the stream, you guys for putting it on, Fiercely Forwards, everyone involved really, the racers, great racing throughout the field, I thought, well, from my point of view. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that, and thanks for everyone for watching. It's a pleasure to be part of.
Cracking stuff, Damien. Well, thanks very much, mate. Good luck at Brands next week, and hopefully we'll see you there when you get another win.
Brilliant. Take care, guys. See you soon.
Cheers. Damien Harris there. Really, really strong stuff from him tonight, Peter. Those 2 wins will really mean a lot.
They definitely will, and as Damien eloquently explained there, they were very hard earned. As he rightly said, the tiniest of mistake would have the biggest consequences, and just keeping the car running that pace on your own and keeping the car out the wall is hard enough, but to do that with so much pressure from behind, yeah, Damien really earned those 2 wins tonight, that's for sure.
And somebody that definitely earned a good result in that final race was Matthew Crisp, his teammate. Matthew, that didn't look like the easiest race to manage there because, you have to pick your battles in these sorts of races where margins are so tiny, as Damien's just confirmed, but it looked like you were going quite well out there tonight. It's just hard to overtake.
Yeah, it's probably one of the hardest tracks to overtake on the whole season. I said when Corrington got past me, I mean, I had to try and send it on him. when you've got an opportunity to basically send it on the guy that's leading the championship, you just got to go for him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, nobody can be sort of. Well, you can all be forgiven, let's say, for having to go into that final corner. It's the most inviting of places to do it. As long as you've got the handbrake ready to rip up, you should be all right. But it did still look like a fun race to be a part of, even when it was a bit single file, because I know that having that chase can be usually quite entertaining being behind the wheel. It can sometimes look a lot more exciting from in the car than it can be from outside, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it looks like sort of single file racing probably on the broadcast, but it's probably the most intense racing you ever have on iRacing, being within inches of your rivals. This format, you have a stressful 20-minute race, and then you straight into another stressful 20-minute race. Finally get 10 minutes break, and then another 20 minutes of stress again.
Yeah, indeed. There's no rest for the wicked with those first 2 races, that's for sure. Final round of the season takes place at obviously a very important track to you, Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. Are you feeling confident about going to that one, or is it somewhere that you're sort of thinking, oh, do we have to?
Yeah, not only is it my home track, it's going to be a bit more special to me because it'll be my final races with Fiercely Ford in the TCR car.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be leaving the team at the end of the SLW Championships and joining a new team.
Oh,
so yeah,
play.
thanks to all those guys at Fiercely Ford who've basically given me all these opportunities to race in all these championships that otherwise I probably wouldn't have done. So yeah, it's going to be an emotional one for me anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, we'll make sure we give that plenty of coverage. It's a nice story to have, mate. Hopefully on good terms and everything as well, of course. But
yeah.
I mean, I know the guys at Fiercely Ford are all a great laugh. It's always been a very positive team. So fingers crossed for all of your ventures going forward, mate. And obviously we do hope to see you get a good result from it in that final one. But before we let you go tonight, is there anyone else you'd like to give a quick thanks to?
Yeah, all the sponsors at Fiercely Ford, Porsche Sport, Open Car Software, and Simracersworld, which I almost just forgot. Yeah, and obviously to you guys and all the organisers at Simracersworld. It's not been an easy series for anyone in the organisational side, but yeah, it's been a fun one for me at least, nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, away from any sort of stresses and strains behind the scenes, it's still been a hell of a lot of fun to be a part of and broadcast as well. But great to speak to you again, Matthew. Well done tonight, mate, and we'll see you next week at Brands.
Cheers,
buddy. Right then, we'll do one more, Peter. You've got quite the group to choose from there. Who do you reckon you want to have a word with?
I think you know who I'm going to choose.
Malcolm.
Let's get Malky in for a chat. Yes.
Here he is then.
Scott Malcolm, welcome to the commentary box. That looked like a bit of a punch-up tonight. Tell us about it.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. Say it just. This is the thing I love about your interviews, Scott. You say it how it is, and it's what we need. It's the interviews we need. I love it.
No, because if I say how it was, I'll swear, so I better know.
Well, Chaz has actually got a bleeper button now, Scott, so he's been dying to use it.
I'm not that quick.
Nah, you don't get used to me.
I'm not that quick fire on it yet, but this car track combo, Scott, it had a few mixed reviews. What did you make of it?
I love it. I can't believe I'm actually saying it, but I love that car around this track. I don't know what it is. I thought it was brilliant.
It seems like the sort of car where, it suits tracks you wouldn't expect it to. I mean, I imagine driving it itself was exciting, but for Peter and I, it didn't seem like the slipstream was strong enough for it down the not quite straight, and it's quite a wide sort of slippery machine, isn't it? They do move around on the brakes a bit, so you have to be extra careful when the walls are that close, don't you?
Yeah, and it's just so hard to pass somebody around here. You just got to try and force them into a mistake.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like people were trying that, and then a little bit of argy-bargy occurred. A few incidents, of course, but you're going to get a bit of that around here, aren't you?
Oh yeah, aye. You get it all the time in here. There's not really much you can do about it.
No, indeed. One more race meeting of the championship to go. Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. How are you feeling about going there? Because it's another one that gets quite mixed reviews from what I've heard.
Yeah, I should be not too bad there because I got my dates mixed up when I was practicing that track the last 2 nights.
Oh no, that's because they moved the championship back around, wasn't it?
It was all like that, so I kind of had a wee bit of surprise when I seen.
Well, you got some early practice in either way, mate. But we hope it goes well. Of course, we will be covering that action as well. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before you go, Scott?
Just the usual crowd, obviously you and Pete, Team Mad, all the drivers, Bram for putting this championship on and put up with everybody, and that's about it, I think.
Awesome stuff. Great to speak to you again, Scott, and we will see you next time round at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, can't wait.
Cracking stuff. Always good to speak to Scott. Like you say, Peter, the Falkirk Flyer, as you call him.
Absolutely, yeah, the Falkirk Flyer. I didn't want to say that was like a brawl in a Falkirk pub, but I thought that might have been a bit rude to say that to Scott.
Well, there you go.
For those that don't know Falkirk, that would be quite a big one.
Yeah, it would. That would be a big oof. But either way, something that was a big oof tonight, Damien Harris takes 2 race wins out of the 3 races tonight. Awesome performance. Ends up getting a podium in the 3rd race as well. His championship rival Corentin Guinez and current championship leader into the final round, finishing just in front. He's got one hand on the trophy so far. It's going to be very interesting to see what him and his teammates can do in the final round at Brands Hatch. But that, unfortunately, is all we have time for here tonight on Simracersworld TV. Join us in a week's time from 7:45 p.m. UK time, and we will bring you the final 3 rounds of the championship from Brands Hatch. Thank you once again, Peter MacKay, my wonderful co-commentator and very, very good friend. Thank you, everybody, for watching, everyone behind the scenes, and of course all the drivers as well for providing such great action. I've been Chaz Draycott. This has been Simracersworld TV, and we'll see you in a week for Brands. Have a good night.